What's going on, y'all? Your boy Darius back in for another video. And this time, as I said I would start doing in the year 2025, I am here with my review, my thoughts on Monday Night Raw, right? The Raw on Netflix. I said I would be doing more wrestling content in the year 2025, trying to do reviews of wrestling shows after they go down, right? WWE, not AEW, because I don't watch AEW. I don't really enjoy it, but I will definitely do reviews for Raws, SmackDowns, maybe NXTs, probably this NXT that's about to go down in like 10 minutes. I got to get through this because The Rock is going to be on NXT tonight, which is exciting. I debated even doing this because like my voice is kind of going. I'm kind of under the weather. Throat's a little funny, but I just said, hey, now let's get this out. Raw on Netflix was a big momentous occasion, right? Plenty of things went down. It had like a PLE feel to it. I'm just going to give my thoughts, and I'm not going to go like play by play, match by match, really. I'm just going to talk about the things that stuck out to me. Starting, of course, with the big thing here. I got this in this little picture I assembled here. The big thing at the bottom. The Rock showed up. He was advertised for the show, but he showed up at the beginning. He gave a little talk about, how special, wrestling is to him and this, that, and the other. He it's weird. They took a weird turn with The Rock, because like he came out with the Hollywood Rock, theme and entrance and stuff. But like he's not really the final boss anymore. Like he didn't call himself the final boss. He wasn't acting like the final boss. He was acting like classic good guy babyface Rock. And like he even shouted out Cody. Later in the show they threw up like a Instagram video of them like hugging it out backstage and stuff. And just like, this is a weird kind of turn, because like y'all remember the WrestleMania build. Y'all remember this dude made him bleed. This dude called his dog Pharaoh shithead. This dude, went up to his mom with Cody's blood on the belt, showing her and stuff. It's just like he said some messed up things. He did some messed up things to Cody, and now they're all kumbaya, and it's just kind of. It's like the biggest problem I had with the show is that babyface Rock is back, and when this moment down here happened, when Roman beat Solo in Tribal Combat, which was probably the best Tribal Combat match we've had, because they've kind of all not been the best. They've all kind of been slow and glacial and just kind of lethargic. Like Roman versus Jay in Tribal Combat SummerSlam was bad. I think there was like a Tribal Combat. Wasn't there another one? Was it like a tag team match? I think that one was alright. But like this one with Solo was actually pretty good. Roman wins, of course. He is now the official Tribal Chief, the only Tribal Chief, the OTC for realsies. And Rock comes out. But the way they framed it was kind of crazy, because like after Roman wins, he's like in the corner, kind of like catching his breath and stuff. And like in the background, you just see The Rock just walking out. And it was kind of sinister. There's some real good camera work there, but there was nothing sinister about it. They got in the ring, they hugged it out, hit the Predator handshake and stuff. And I was expecting Rock to turn on him, but it didn't happen. So one of two things are happening here. Number one, they're trying to very slow build this turn, right? Like maybe even with the Cody stuff as well, they're trying to slow burn Rock, being like, aha, I am still the final boss. I actually am still an asshole. Or simply, there's not going to be any Rock involvement at WrestleMania, so they didn't want to have The Rock do any heelish stuff to try to insinuate that he might be facing Roman at WrestleMania or even Cody. One of those things, both of those things are highly possible, but I just wasn't a fan of the clock being turned back to babyface good guy Rock, because I find that boring. The final boss was like the best work he's done since Hollywood Rock. So the other eventful thing in the show, again, I'm kind of going off these pictures here because this is like the most important things that happened in the show. Also, Rhea won the world title. No one thought that was going to happen any differently. But John Cena came out, cut a long promo basically saying that he will be in the Royal Rumble, and it is his goal to win the Royal Rumble. And I personally think he is probably a real safe bet to win. I could definitely see him winning it, because when I look at the landscape of WrestleMania and the different matches that there could be, I think Cena's facing one of two people, Gunther or Cody Rhodes. He's going for one of those world titles. They're going to make a big thing about him trying to get that 17th world title, because even in this promo, he was just like, oh no, it's not gonna happen. I'll never be 17-time world champion. It's not gonna happen. And then by the end of it, he was singing a different tune, just like, but maybe I can, maybe I will. So at the very least, he's going to definitely try to go for that. So I think he's going to face one of the champions at WrestleMania. It's going to be Cody. It's going to be Gunther. And he could get there without winning the Rumble. He could get there via winning the Chamber as well, right? But I think he's one of those champions he'll be facing at WrestleMania. If he faces Cody, I don't think he'll get that 17th title win. But if he faces Gunther, I definitely could see him beating Gunther and getting that 17th title. So this retirement tour for Cena is going to be something special. It's going to be special to me because, like, I grew up on Cena. Cena was my guy. Cena was my Stone Cold. Cena was my Hogan. Who, I got to talk about that. Hulk Hogan getting booed out of the building when he came out to promote his Real American Beer, which I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I had heard about it because, like, I watched Raw today. I didn't watch it live yesterday. I was at work. So, today, when I had some time, I watched all 3 hours, or like it was a little over 3 hours, because with Netflix they can kind of go as long as they want to. But I remember earlier in the day seeing a headline pop up on my phone about Hogan getting booed out of the building, and that was like the only thing I'd seen from the show. I was just like, oh, that's pretty good. So like when it went to commercials, which I guess even though I have the ad-free tier, I'm still getting commercials. Apparently in the UK, they don't get commercials. It's a weird thing. But like I stepped out to make some food, walked back in to seeing and hearing Hulk Hogan get absolutely crucified and booed out of the building by the LA crowd. You love to see it. It was amazing. And yes, he deserved every single minute of it, okay? I've seen people on the internet, try to turn it into be like, oh, they booed him because of his political beliefs, because he's MAGA and stuff. That's not why they booed him. You know how I know that's not why they booed him? Because Undertaker came out during Rhea Ripley's, like celebration when she was after she beat Liv. Taker came out. He got a huge pop. People love Taker, and guess what? Taker's a Trump supporter. At the very least, he voted for him, right? He's a conservative, right? He had that whole thing on his like podcast or whatever. He had Trump on the podcast, and him and Kane, they endorsed Trump. So it's no secret where Taker's political beliefs lie. And I know plenty of people on the internet took that as like, oh, F Taker, Taker's terrible, write him off, cancel him, whatever. They can have that opinion. But it's very telling that people cheered Taker when he came out and then booed Hogan. Two guys, both conservative, two guys, both clearly voted for Trump and supported Trump. The reason why is because we know for a fact that Hulk Hogan caught on record being a piece of shit, being a racist. And I know he can say, oh, I've changed, brother, I've changed my ways. But I'm just like, if you go back and listen to that tape, and like the excuses he tried to make, like when that first happened, it's just like, oh, everyone where I grew up, they were saying it, but in the way, the vitriol in his voice, the way that he was talking about, us. Fuck Hogan, okay? And he deserved every single minute of that. It was awesome. I want to go watch it again because it was great to hear. You love to see it. WWE, stop bringing Hogan back. No one wants to see him, dude. It's just, no one wants to see him, dude. Nobody wants to see him again, okay? I don't care that why would you even partner with his beer company anyway? It's a stupid thing. But moving on from that, another huge thing, of course, the main event, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, which was pretty good. I think it should have went longer. I think it clearly, even though Triple H said that with the Netflix model, their time, they won't really have time constraints. But clearly, I feel like their match could have been longer. Clearly, they cut some stuff because they cut the New Day. It's supposed to be the New Day versus Rey Mysterio and a mystery opponent, and they cut that. So apparently, they still want to keep it in like the 3 hour, maybe 3.5 at best, but they still want to keep it around that 3 hour mark. Obviously, I think Trouble Combat and The Rock's promo, two very long things. I think that kind of took away from the main event here, but it was still pretty good. I think they can do even better on like a proper pay-per-view. They were starting off, they were doing some real like hard-hitting stuff too. Like they were laying it all out there, man. And apparently the finish to the match was directly like a direct reference to how Punk beat Jon Moxley in AEW. Because I never actually watched that match, but I did see like the side-by-side clip, the comparison, where like hits the GTS, falls to the ropes, lands on like Punk's shoulders, who's like on the ground, and then picks him back up. GTS, same thing, which I thought was pretty neat reference there, which only means one thing. When Punk faces Roman, he needs to do the same thing. Except Roman's going to kick out because he's Roman Reigns. But let me see what else I could talk about here. The general setup, like I guess the Intuit Dome, like has like those lights that you can see, and I don't know if you can see my cursor, but like you can see like the lights by like the crowd, like in the crowd and stuff. Apparently that's just a thing with the Intuit Dome arena, the Clippers arena. But it didn't look the best on camera for like this show, the way the lighting was set up for this show, because I've seen like Clippers games and stuff, and like I think the lights are usually just white, but the arena itself is much more lit up, so you don't really pay attention to it. But here it really made it look like at times that there was no one in the chairs. Like just looking, like the higher up you went, it was kind of like, are there people there? It doesn't look like it, but then you can kind of squint and make out people. But that's like my other criticism of the show. I hope I guess since that's only an Intuit Dome thing, they won't have that every time they go. Like next week, for example, I don't know where they're at, but they're not gonna have that set up. I initially thought that was just like a thing that they did now for Netflix, but now that's just the Intuit Dome. What else is there to talk about? There was no Penta on the show. It seemed like Pentagon Jr. was going to be on the show tonight, but Gable is facing a mystery luchador next week on Raw, which obviously is going to be Penta, and that match is going to slap hard. Gable versus Penta, oh man, that match is going to, it's going to be good. Especially if they give it like time, it's going to be good. I have no idea, because I figured Penta was going to be Ray's mystery partner against the New Day, but if that's not going to be the case, I have no idea who it could be. I feel like the lame answer is just it'd be Dragon Lee, but if not Dragon Lee, I know some people speculated, could it be Big E? I was just like, I don't know. I feel like if it was going to be Big E, it would have happened on this show, considering how big of an event it is, but who knows. I guess the only thing now is talk about like where we're going forward, right? Obviously Punk beat Rollins. He said he's going to be in the Rumble. We're going to have Punk and Cena in the Rumble. That's going to be amazing. We don't know what's next for Roman and Solo in this Bloodline saga, because it's like a while back Solo said that, if he lost to Roman, he would acknowledge him. Him and the Bad Bloodline would acknowledge him. Who knows how that's going to go down? Is Roman going to go after Cody again? Because now that he has the Ulafala back, what is he missing? The WWE title. Is that going to be a thing? There was an interesting part I forgot to talk about in that match where like Kevin Owens came in to like stun Roman, and then Cody came in and fought him. But like Kevin Owens was gonna let Solo beat him. I thought that was an interesting little wrinkle there. But yeah, I thought the show as a whole pretty good. There was no Gunther on the show. Like it's weird not having a world champion on the show, even though they had like a vignette of him. But all around, I think it was a pretty good show, pretty solid show. I love the opening, like the cold open, and I saw a lot of pushback on like them using heel and face and talking about basically like the inside wrestling terms. I know Jim Cornette's gonna have a stroke about that on his podcast, but it didn't really bother me. I was just like, oh wow, they're really talking about it. But considering that this is on Netflix, that this is now a much more global thing where a lot of people can see this anywhere in the world now, I think now WWE is trying to even more than ever before, maybe even during the Vince era, trying to really establish that this is an entertainment company. We are in the business of storytelling. So there are good guys, there are bad guys. There's heels, there are faces. We're crafting stories here. Like it's not so much about the wrestling, it's about the stories, which I think, anyway, is the most important part of wrestling, the stories. Because if you can have people just do a match, run ropes, but if you don't care about what's going on in the middle of those ropes, like, what's the point? And that's kind of why I don't really watch AEW as much, because they don't, a lot of times I feel like they're just doing matches for the sake of matches and no real story stuff. Sometimes they do some good story stuff like Hangman and Swerve, but anyway, let me not get into that. But overall, really enjoyed Raw on Netflix. I don't expect every week to be, like this, but hopefully every week, I don't want them to phone it in, hopefully with this renewed era, this resurgence, you could say, this revitalization, hopefully I mean, the WWE has been very good for like this past year and a half. Triple H been in power, so I expect nothing less. But hopefully it continues this upward trajectory. All right. So let me know what you guys thought of Monday Night Raw live on Netflix, man. Did you watch it? All right, I'm assuming you did if you're watching this video. What was your favorite match? What was your favorite part of the show? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you want me to keep doing these Raw reviews, these wrestling reviews. Might do NXT. NXT's already started. Rock probably already kicked off the show. I'm probably missing that. Let me go watch that right now. Make sure you leave a like, man. Tell YouTube you like what you saw. All right, if you like this, if you run up the likes, I will know to continue to do this stuff. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.